Good morning. It's another fresh edition of your favorite program on television, Inside Nigeria. My name is Winifred Ubebo. Today is May 2nd, Thursday, 2024. And of course, it's also a fresh edition of your program, a review of some select national dailies in the country. We have 5 newspapers for our review on this first segment of the program, including Nigeria's most influential newspaper, Leadership. And as we normally do on the program, we like to flag off with Nigeria's most influential. Leadership's main headline stories today says May Day amid hardship. Labour makes fresh demands for workers' welfare. May Day amid hardship. Labour makes fresh demands for workers' welfare. May Day was May 1st celebrated in the country yesterday. Your days of worry are over, says Tinubu. New wage to take effect from May 1st, Labour Minister. That was yesterday. And of course, we have pictures of the rallies that took place across the country yesterday in commemoration of the day. We have in Abuja, where we have the Vice President Shetima hosting the trade union and the NLC executives, including the Minister of Labour. We have in Kaduna, we have Lagos, and we have same FCT pictures gracing the cover this morning. Beside that, Benue to launch on security outfit in May, Governor Elia. Naira rebounds, gains 28.15 Naira against dollar. Fuel scarcity queues, only temporary reps. Insecurity, Nigeria seeks intelligence sharing with US. That runs on page 9 of Leadership. And we move above, where we have mining areas record rise in out-of-school children report. Mining areas record rise in out-of-school children report. The story is also on page 7 of Leadership. Above that, taking the place of business buzz today is Leadership Le Vogue. Leadership's staple is an all glossy, all color style magazine, and of course it's coming out this Sunday. You can't afford to miss your copy. While you grab a copy of Leadership Sunday, you have the instruction inside. Above the masthead of Leadership, ignore candidates parading 2024 UTME printed results jam. Refined Dangote fuel now expected in July, and of course that is 2 months to go. And that takes us to page 3 of the paper. We are stand waiting for Komani oil feed. If you recall, Komani oil feed was launched with fanfare by the former president Muhammadu Buhari, and of course Leadership is asking, waiting for Komani oil feed. This is about almost a year since its launch. So you want to find out more on our stand today. First of all, let's go to the back page of the paper, where we have Being Blunt with Muazu Elize. Is writing on return of fuel queues. Of course, the fuels are still there, all across the country. For continuation of his column, the editorial, waiting for Komani oil feed, inside stories, and continuation of these headline stories, I urge you to log on to the website of Leadership, www.leadership.ng. From Leadership, we move to Daily Sun. Of course, all the papers have similar story today on the cover. That's the outcomes of the Labor Day celebrated yesterday. Daily Sun says workers angry over federal government's delay on minimum wage, may embark on strike. Tinubu assures of better days as federal government promises implementation with effect from May 1. NLC TUC condemn higher electricity tariff. The second leading story there says fuel scarcity, reps demand clamp down on hoarders. Fuel scarcity, reps demand clamp down on hoarders. Beside the masthead of Daily Sun, Lagos Calabar Highway, federal government begins payment of 2.7 billion naira compensation to affected property owners. Israel-Iran crisis responsible for fuel scarcity, Ipman. 16 burned to death, 2 injured in Enugu road mishap. PDP begins nationwide reconciliation once Nigeria will crumble if party collapses. Turkey to join South Africa's genocide case against Israel at World Court. Abia North urging Kalu intensify schools construction in Abiriba, Nkporo communities. Grid collapse has declined by 76%, says TCN. Of course, this concludes the review of Daily Sun newspaper today, Thursday, May 2, 2024. For continuation of these headline stories, log on to the website of Daily Sun, www.sunnynewsonline.com. From Daily Sun, we move to Vanguard. Vanguard is next on our menu, and Vanguard's main headline stories too is also on May Day. Labour gives federal government May 31 deadline on minimum wage. To conclude talks, insist on 615,000 naira wage demand. Threatens total shutdown if. Places 18-point agenda before federal government. Condemns hike in electricity tariff. Demands reversal within 1 week. We are working on new minimum wage, living wage, Tinubu assures. Resist anti-people tendencies, PDP charges workers. I stand with workers in solidarity, Peter Obi. Akpabio assures Nigerian workers of better welfare. These are riders beneath the main headline story today on Vanguard. May Day, Labour gives federal government May 31 deadline on minimum wage. Beneath that, banks close 2 million accounts over BVN NIN orders. Banditry, why I abandoned my 10,000 hectares Benin Gwari farm, Bafarawa. And in sports, Eagles will qualify for 2026 World Cup, says Finidi George, the new Super Eagles coach. Above the masthead of Vanguard, we have 1.5 billion liters of petrol to last 30 days, reps. Nachima President Oye to speak at Vanguard Economic Summit. Insecurity, Matawale urges US to share intel on terrorism banditry. May Day, governors promise better working conditions, pay rise for workers. Of course, that brings to an end the review of Vanguard newspaper cover. For more, log on to the website www.vanguardngr.com. And that takes us to the next paper on our menu, The Guardian. The Guardian's leading story is on same Labor Day celebration. Labor demands inflation-proof pay, frequent wage review. Of course, just like every other paper before it, it has pictures of a May Day rally that took place across the country yesterday. Minimum wage takes back seat in Kano, Kwara as NLC marks May Day. Teco losses. Irregular levy remittance threaten NCC's 549 billion naira target. PDP chides Ayeda Tiwa for budgeting 5 billion naira to renovate daycare centers. Workers wary as federal government assures on May 1 date for new minimum wage. Super Eagles, how to support indigenous coaches to grow, win laurels, is the news analysis on page 5 of The Guardian. Duty exchange rate fueling uncertainty adjusted 28 times in 2024 first half, says CPPE. PDP rallies aggrieved members targets 2027 presidency. 10 years after the shame of Chibok lingers on government, is the editorial today on page 12 of The Guardian. 10 years after the shame of Chibok lingers on government. Of course, we want to find out more on that. Log on to the website of The Guardian, and also for the continuation of the headline stories, www.guardian.ng. From The Guardian, we move to the last paper on our menu, and that is The Punch. The Punch main story says, minimum wage, federal government labor talks deadlocked. NLC defends 615,000 naira demand. Tinubu says government unions fail to reach consensus, assures workers of living minimum wage. Federal government frustrated negotiation. Anything below 615,000 naira will make workers poorer. NLC TUC. Agri imports go up 12 trillion naira despite 9-year anchor borrower scheme. Lagos uncovers under bridge apartment where tenants pay 250,000 naira rent. Labour berates Zamfara over teachers 8,000 naira salary. Female Kano Varsity student found dead in apartment. NLC laments Bono retirees 4,000 naira monthly pension. Beside the masthead of the Punch, Lagos Calabar Highway government forced landmark title begins 2.7 billion naira compensation payment. Fuel scarcity, federal government plans 15-day emergency fuel supply. Government expenditure rose by 33% in February, MPC member. Federal government gives fresh conditions for gas license. Of course, that also concludes the review of the Punch newspaper this Thursday, May 2, 2024, and also brings to an end the first half of this segment of the show, Inside Nigeria. My name is Winifred Webo. The second half is shortly coming in. Don't go away, just stay tuned for the program. Hello there and welcome to the second segment of your favorite program on leadership television, Inside Nigeria. Inside Nigeria, as I mentioned earlier, is a breakfast show where we review and discuss some front headline stories and of course also trending stories on the program. My name is Winifred Webo once again, and I have my Thursday guest in the house. He is a political economist, Adefolari Olamilekun. Thank you so much once again.
Thanks for
It's always a
having
pleasure to have you on the program.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, as a labor man, yesterday was a Labor Day,
Exactly.
May Day, as they say. So, how would you assess the whole celebration, the whole gamut of celebration? It was kind of lackluster. What do you think?
Definitely, because that was definitely because of this current situation of the economy. And it's not just peculiar to Nigeria, it's a global issue, because most celebration across the world was celebrated with the low key as well as the demand for better wages for workers. And the contention at the global level is that the inequality of the world is getting more wider, particularly the workers. And now, since after the post-COVID era, workers have been subjected to a lot of harsh treatment that the employers just need to think twice about what they are putting the workers to. And that has been the cry at the global level. But in Nigerian case, it's about minimum wage and the plight of the current economic situation.
Okay. Well, opinions are a bit divided over what the federal government has agreed to give labor. While on the other hand, we are hearing about a 35% increase, but one is not sure. What is actually the situation?
Actually, we need to contextualize.
Opinions are divided.
Yes, because if for some of us that follow the trending issue about increment in salary, increment in the levels of workers of Nigeria in terms of the federal government, and particularly the federal government, this particular gesture that the government released yesterday is quite different from the phenomenon of the minimum wage. And the issue around increment and minimum wage are quite different. Minimum wage is a general phenomenon on every Nigerian workers. But the increment that the government did of 35% is for government workers, civil service and public service who are workers under the federal government of Nigeria. And that particular increment has been something that majority of the labor the level of unit level as well as the level of zone level have been crying for. It's not something that was crying for at the national level. It's just within the unit level of civil service, public service arena. And that's why the increment came. And this has been an increment that government normally do every now and then, particularly within the framework of what the government think, particularly in relation to what workers are supposed to be earning, based on the level of your entry and your level of exit.
So, in a nutshell, what are we looking at with this 35% increase? What is the lowest for a civil servant? Then?
I think for a civil servant, particularly, that will be earning 70,000. At the end of the day, you will be earning a close to 94,000. 94,000. That's what it means, and it's on the base of your level. The increment is done on the base of, that's what they call the corners, the contacts, and the the different way government. I know in the past the health sectors have enjoyed this increment, but other sectors have not really enjoyed this increment. It was just late last year that education sector like the ASU academics also enjoyed it. But right now you discover that the academic were not in part of it. It's only the research institute that were part of it, because the academic already got in their own share of the increment.
And we also have military and
yes, also got their own. Although the military have not gotten any increment in the last how many years, apart from the police that got increment of from 40,000 to 70,000. Then anybody that enter police entry, that is at least 70,000 of what they are earning, but not until this January effect of this increment that government has. So it's different from minimum wage.
Okay, it's different from minimum wage.
It's far different from minimum wage. What what many people don't know is that if you are earning minimum wage and this increment comes for a federal government staff, now if federal government is okay, the minimum wage is 50,000. It will not add anything to your 94,000. It's already there in your slip that you are earning above minimum wage. Now, the people that minimum wage will affect is that, or the how minimum wage will affect anybody, if in case it go beyond the current status of the threshold of what government is paying, like the example I gave of 94,000 for the police, for example, or any other agency of government that is earning more than close to 70,000 or thereabout. So you can have that kind of impact. So minimum wage is generally for every workers in Nigeria.
Now, Labour is defending 615,000 naira demand. What do you say about that?
I think that is based on their own economic calculation of what should be reflected on the reality of the inflation, the reality of the economic downturn that we're facing. But as someone who understands the negotiating power of labor, it's just a benchmark. It's a negotiating tool. They know that in reality, the economy cannot give. Who will pay? The question that we threw yesterday when this particular we asked is that in the labor secretary, in TUC secretary, can labor or TUC pay their secretarial staff 750,000 as minimum wage? It's not possible. They can't even earn such more. So it's a benchmark for negotiation. It's a benchmark for negotiation going forward. They could come down below that, and it's something that they just want to try and see that government will take them for a ride.
Now, I want to also be clear again. This minimum wage is different from what NS is demanding as minimum wage. This increase by government.
The increase is an internal working of the government in terms of increasing the salaries of the workers based on levels.
Now, with the federal government now quoted to labor again to now give a minimum wage.
Definitely, the minimum wage is the national wage. It's a global phenomenon each country have to have. Like in the US, it's based on hour. You get it? So in Nigeria, it's based on monthly. So in our own case now, they are saying it should be 615,000 monthly. Now you ask yourself, private sector, government sector, even if federal government, if I have thought, I say federal government can even pay the 615,000. Can state do it? Can the private individual do it?
In fact, many people are already even taking a swipe at the Edo State government for increasing minimum wage to 70,000 naira. Many people have the opinion that is it going to sustain it, that is going to leave a chaos for his successor. But I will not privy to some of the discussions around it. I've always said that no, Edo State IGR is quite high, even higher than Kano State, which is the commercial state of the nation. So we can actually sustain it. And somebody also pointed out that Edo State also has one of the leanest civil service.
That was the number. Yes.
And of course, that got me to thinking that of a truth. You understand? Before you can actually get somebody that works in Edo civil service, growing up then, it was very, very difficult.
And again, the only issue that may affect them if they will not bloat up the numbers of civil service, if they're not going to be creating unnecessary agencies and the rest of it, and if they will avoid ghost workers, then they can manage it. But if they will not be able to manage all those things, and corruption will not set in, or malpractices by politicians will not set in, and civil servants themselves, compromising the standard, then that could be a challenge to them.
Now, talking about states also increasing their own minimum wage, a paper has it that Kano, Kwara, they are kind of silent on that.
Maybe because
by Lagos has also increased their own to 70,000.
They may be looking at the body language of the federal government. They may not want to do any preempt whatever the government wants to do, because they are negotiating past tense based on what the government will, federal government will agree. And one thing many people need to understand: minimum wage has an act that backs it up.
Yes.
The one that the state are doing, it may not be so strong like that, because at the end of the day, if Labour want to argue now, like those say they have 70,000, by the time the act at the national level now say it is 100,000, what would they do? They will go back to that 100,000 that the national agreed to. So that's why most states will use the reason not to preempt.
But you know what federal government used to do is to at least states can do between, give them a standard. Of course, it's not expect states to also do.
No. Based on the law, based on the law, it is national. It is that act.
It's a uniform.
It's a uniform. It's an act of parliament. You must follow it. Okay, so if some states are not doing anything now, they just want to wait and see what the government or federal government will come out.
In any case, will states be able to carry it out? Because we are seeing some papers today that some, like Labour Bureau Zamfara, over teachers 8,000 naira salary. Some states are paying teachers 8,000 naira. Because
maybe that could be at the primary school level, based on what the local government chairman are paying. Because the national minimum wage for teachers is national. It is uniform across the country. Maybe it could be teachers that are under PTA, because I know that teachers that are under PTA are not any minimum wage, that any whatever contribution comes from the PTA level. So, but we just hope that at the end of the day, the national agreement on minimum wage will be what will be unified and will be applied nationally. But the one that states are doing independently, it is based on their own understanding what they will do. But by the time the national own figure comes, everybody have to comply. But although there have been a voice that we should decentralize this minimum wage thing, there should not
I think it's decentralized, because I don't think states have been paying
you're in for a real treat.
That's why one thing you should know, they are not be paying because they disobey that particular act. But what people are saying now, let us have a decentralized minimum wage. Let every state be able to pay. But in relation to that, people are not saying, if you are asking states to be paying minimum wage based on their power, that means they have to control the resources.
Wow. That's another
argument. They have to control the resources.
Another argument coming in. Wow. That is something else. Thank you so much, Blair. Well, so how would you assess overall? Because given the fact that there's so much hardship in the country as compared to previous years, so how will you really capture the mood? Though you said it earlier, it has been different. It has always been different from this. Nigerians have never had it this bad. So,
in that case, the economy has not been smiling.
So even increasing their wage, what impact will it make?
It won't make any impact, because the key issue have not been
it's also going to drive inflation.
Definitely to drive inflation. Then the purchasing power that want to
family might find it curious at his antics, but beneath that zany exterior beats the heart of a gentle giant. Cliff is the kind of guy who'd give you the shirt off his back, even if that shirt happens to be polka-dotted and 2 sizes too big. Cliff is a competitor to the core. When he's not busy perfecting his impression of a rubber chicken, he's locked in a fierce monthly battle of wits and cards at the pinochle table. It's like the Super Bowl of card games, and Cliff plays to win. Passions run high, laughter echoes louder, and the thrill of competition keeps the heart of this quirky maestro beating strong. One of America's most well-loved entertainers for a half-century, comedian, actor, and producer Bill Cosby enjoyed considerable success as a recording artist and television star in such series as I Spy, NBC 1965-68, and The Cosby Show, NBC 1984-1992, before his career and reputation were demolished by numerous accusations of sexual assault, which resulted in his imprisonment in 2018. Cosby was convicted on 3 counts of aggravated indecent assault, resulting in a 3 to 10-year prison sentence in a Pennsylvania state prison. Shockingly, around 60 women have come forward with accusations ranging from rape to sexual battery and misconduct. These accusations brought about a significant downfall in his career and public image. In 2020, the Pennsylvania Department of Corrections released an updated mugshot of Cosby, who was then 83 years old. The image showed him with gray hair and pallid skin, reflecting the somber turn of events in his life. Dr. Heathcliff Cliff Huxtable, played by Bill Cosby when he was 47 years old, and now he is 85 years old. Number 2, Felicia Rashad as Claire Huxtable. Claire is the blueprint of the Superwoman. woman, the embodiment of an exemplary wife and mother. She's the tranquil center of the family storm, seamlessly blending love, care, and wisdom in a way that seems almost supernatural. In the world of multitasking, she's the undisputed champion, juggling family, work, and everything in between,
Thank you so
with
much
grace
for that, because
that leaves
when I
you
was
in
going to
awe.
buy few,
But Claire isn't
was
just
telling
about
somebody,
maternal
colleague,
magic.
who's also-
She's
that
a
this
wordsmith
girl
extraordinaire.
that, Dangote has
Her
reduced
eloquence
fast
and
by
intelligence make her
244.
words
That is
resonate
so-
like pearls of
144,
wisdom,
1,000.
leaving everyone around her captivated.
240 something naira on.
Claire
On
is
their
the
dashboard.
kind
I
of
said, how
person
come
you
when they are
want in
getting
your
it for
corner
now,
during a
something-
debate
something-
or a tough
the
decision.
price is so high.
With
If you
her,
ask the manager
you've got
of
the
that
best
place,
of both
he will
tell you
worlds.
that their
The
sources is not
intellect
from
to
Dangote,
navigate any
it's
challenge and the
because
street
actually
smarts to
aligned,
keep
but
it
it's not
real.
You can see the
Felicia
segment, we have
Rashad,
Momo-
who portrayed
Momo
Claire
major oil
Huxtable,
companies,
became
and
an
we have
icon
Ipman.
of the
Ipman claim they are collecting
1980s.
from Dangote.
Her
Momo
character,
will
Claire
tell you that
Huxtable, was not only
So
a
when you
lawyer,
go to a filling
but
station that
also a
claim that they
mother
are
of
importing,
5
their price
children.
will not change.
She
Their price will
symbolized
stay
the
the same.
idea of women having it all,
Mm-hmm.
successfully managing a thriving career and a strong household simultaneously.
To be born
Following the
better. It will be
conclusion of
practice
The
to come down
Cosby
lower.
Show
Yes,
in
it's
1992,
Exactly.
Felicia
So what is happening
Rashad
here?
continued
It's
to
because the
excel in
government
her
are not
acting
really-
career,
we see a line
often
position,
taking on
and Dangote
powerful
will-
female
according to
roles.
sources, that it may
One
not
of
be
her
able to
notable
feed
roles was
the entire
portraying the
Nigeria.
mother
So,
of Angelo
if you-
Dubois and
But how many
Diana
Nigerians
Dubois in the
actually
3rd and
depend on
4th
diesel,
seasons
maybe
of
for
Empire.
generator?
A lot of
Rashad also returned
That's why
to
you
her
see that
Broadway
one of the
roots with
problem we had
significant
with voice
roles such
scarcity
as
was because
Faye in
majority of the
Skeleton
tankers
Crew,
went headlong to go and
2022,
be
Big Mama in Cat on a Hot Tin Roof, 2008, and Violet in August Osage County, 2007, among numerous other productions. In late 2023, audiences can look forward to seeing her in the new TV series, Diara from Detroit. The series revolves around a recently divorced school teacher from Detroit, navigating the challenges of her post-divorce life and modern dating, as she refuses to believe that her Tinder date rejected her. Claire Huxtable played by Felicia Rashad when she was 36 years old, and now she is 75 years old. Number 3, Malcolm Jamal Warner as Theo Huxtable. Theo is your quintessential rebel without a cause, a magnet for socializing, sports, and, of course, the mystique of the opposite gender.
I think that
Trouble seems to find him like a heat-seeking missile, but deep down, he's a genuine soul with a heart as big as his misadventures are. Now, let's be honest, Theo might not have his life's purpose on speed dial, but hey, who does at that age? He's still figuring out the map of life, and wrong turns are just part of the journey. As for his parents, well, they're like a well-tuned Greek chorus of nagging and advice. It might seem like they're taking the fun out of everything, but trust me, it's all because they've got his future on their radar. Theo's just got to squint a bit to see the silver lining in their clouds of caution. The world first fell in love with Malcolm Jamal Warner as the good-hearted Theo Huxtable. After The Cosby Show, he's had a prolific career. After The Cosby Show, he and Eddie Griffin starred in the sitcom Malcolm and Eddie, about a pair of best friends who managed to be co-workers and roommates, which ran from 1996 to 2000. Following his time on The Cosby Show, Malcolm Jamal Warner continued to have a prolific career in the entertainment industry. He embarked on a successful collaboration.
It's about fraud. It's about, just like what we discussed in one of your programs, online scamming, online banking. I think that should be related to it. But we just hope that it will not also affect people who doesn't play into those.
But I just have so much documentation, and this has not even actually helped.
With Eddie Griffin, starring in the sitcom Malcolm and Eddie from 1996 to 2000. The show centered around two best friends who not only worked together, but also shared living quarters. Afterward, Warner made appearances in both guest and regular roles on various television shows. Some of his notable contributions include extended runs on series like Major Crimes, Suits, and Girlfriend's Guide to Divorce. In 2018, he joined the cast of the medical drama The Resident, portraying the volatile surgeon Dr. A.J. Austin.
It's always a pleasure to have you on the program. This is where we round up on today's episode of the program, Inside Nigeria, your breakfast show on Leadership Television. My name is Winifred Weber. Of course, I always have the pleasure of having a company every Thursday. My Thursday guest, a political economist, Olamileko Adepolari. Thank you so much once again.
Thank you.
So this is where we draw the party until I come your way again same time tomorrow at same station. Yes, wishing you a beautiful day. Bye.
Thank you for watching. For sponsorship and advert placements, please contact 080-3688-6158. Last Word Leadership Podcast.